We'll call the meeting to order, and Council Member Mark, can you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Put your hand on your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May we please have a roll call?
Councilmember Villaseñor.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gurrola.
Here.
Mayor Brogy.
Here.
Councilmember Austin.
Here.
Councilmember Mendez.
Here.
Okay, can I have an approval of the agenda, please?
I move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. And then going into public comments, I do have one public comment, a request to speak, and that is from Brandy Hollis. If anyone chooses to speak, and again, this is for items that are not on the agenda, so if you want to speak to council and the community on something not on the agenda, please see our city clerk and fill out one of these green forms. Thank you, Brandy.
Thanks. Hi, Brandy Hollis. I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention that Fillmore Women's Service Club is holding their first Susan Banks Memorial fundraiser. It's going to be May 10th. It's going to be a casino night with, funny money games, appetizers. It's going to be great. It's going to be held at the old Bardesdale Schoolhouse, so it's going to be a great event. We're getting great sponsorship, and all proceeds will go to scholarships to kids graduating that reside within our school district. So everybody that resides in the school district, not necessarily just kids that go to the district. So that's great. And also, lastly, Fillmore Lions Club was looking to donate a banner for the bike path cleanup. And Rob Levins came in and graciously sponsored a 4x6 new banner that will hang up, encouraging everybody to come out to the bike path cleanup. So those were the two things I had for you, and I just wanted to make sure those events get recognized. That's all. Great. Thanks.
Real quick, I'm sorry, where's the banner going to be hung?
I believe Steve McEwen was going to facilitate that. He was going to ask it to be hung right there by the Public Works gate
so
where
you're
the flower
working that
show.
out. Okay, great.
Yeah, but the banner's in production.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I might have missed the date for the bike path cleanup. What
It's
date?
the third Saturday of every month at 9 a.m.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to item number 6, City Council reports, recommendations, and comments. And I will turn this over to council. Anyone have any reports or?
Nope. Okay, I will. Thank you. I'll always speak up for that one. I just wanted to give a reminder to everyone in the community to check the our City of Fillmore social media pages, Instagram and Facebook, and also the city website for our calendar of events. So as we mentioned before, that city-sponsored events are there, but there's efforts going on in the community to put out also different community events that are sponsored by our service clubs and other nonprofits. A couple of city events that are coming up. In April, we have the city will be celebrating Earth Day on Saturday, April 27th. So that's coming up next month. And then also on the horizon in May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And we're actually, the city, along with the school district, is sponsoring our annual Health and Wellness Resource Fair. And that same morning, Saturday, May 18th, the Rotary Club is having a 5K, 10K run walk. And they haven't had that for a few years. And that's going to happen in front of the fire station. And so it's going to be a good day for activity, for wellness in the city of Fillmore. So just want to announce that at our upcoming council meetings to keep people in the know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Now we're moving on to item number 7, the consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve the consent? Yeah, I do have a correction.
Okay.
Let me read this first. On item number 7E on the consent calendar or consent agenda is the acceptance of public street improvements, rotorcraft, acceptance of public improvements. And on that document, itself, the acceptance of public street improvements indicates that the maintenance bond is to be in an amount equal to 25%. So that number was a typo on the document itself, on the report. So it should be 25% of the original improvement bonds. With this correction to item 7E, consent calendar can be approved.
Okay. I'd actually like to just request that item be pulled just for some discussion to the regular agenda items, if possible,
For discussion,
for discussion.
I'm fine with that. Okay, so we'll pull item number 7E for discussion.
Okay, do I have to, if you're going to discuss, do I have to recuse myself because of rotocraft?
When they get that in.
Okay, when they pull the item, you're going to pull the item, he's going to pull the item.
Right, so right now you just need a vote on the rest of
Okay,
the consent
okay.
calendar, and you can participate on that.
Okay.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve with those two exceptions, the correction to item 7E and pulling 7E from the agenda to the regular agenda?
So moved.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Okay, let's go ahead, and once Mark Austin's out of the room, we'll go ahead and talk behind his back.
Do you want to,
I'll just listen back here.
Okay, so 7E.
Yeah, if possible, just like maybe a little bit more explanation of that correction, and then just kind of an understanding of the closeout. It does seem like it's a little sparse with information, which maybe is just my inexperience with this type of project closeout, but I just kind of wanted to bring it up to staff to be able to kind of present it and quantify, or maybe just give a little more background info on how the closeout works and what exactly the, I think, the bonds were, in as much detail as you can without having to go find more documents.
Sure. I'm actually going to call Joe Belamo up so that he can provide a presentation for the staff report, and then we can
Okay.
answer any questions
Perfect.
after that.
And also Kevin, I think was more involved than I was in this. I stay away from development like it's a plague, so I like to focus on your capital improvement projects, so we'll try to answer these questions.
I'll try to answer it. The Rotocraft project is now done. All the public improvements are now completed, and we're asking for what's called a warranty bond. It's 25%. That'll take care of any maintenance issues for the next year. Street trees, grass, in the infrastructure, water, and that kind of stuff. We'll tap into that bond to do any maintenance if we have to. That's the purpose of the warranty bond. But the project is now completed 100%.
Could you describe just maybe a little bit more about the warranty bond? Just because typically, I don't know, again, maybe it's my inexperience, we would get a little more info in an attachment to the staff report. Just so, again, I understand how that's processed and essentially how the closeout allows us to then do that. I do remember maybe from a previous meeting, like the actual diagrams of the areas that we were taking over for maintenance. And I just want to make sure that that's kind of what we're talking about here and how all that.
I'll do my
works.
best. I'm not the city engineer, but we do have maps of the area that's going to be owned by the city, the bike path and the length of the project for the grass parkway and the street trees, the number of street trees, street lights, and all the water valves, water meters. Those are all identified and a cost attributed to all of them, and that we keep 25%. At the end of the year, that bond's ended. I don't know, do you want to explain that fuller?
No, I think you covered it. There is the improvements bond, and that is going to be converted. Rotocraft is ready to convert that to the warranty bond. So at that, it's going to be an action by the city council, then they'll go ahead and do that.
Okay, and so the 25% was not a change, it was just a typo in the staff
Correct.
report?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
so the staff
So-
report said 15%,
Correct.
but the
Right,
correct
yeah.
number was
Yeah, I
25,
just
so
wanted to make
that
sure.
was just a typo, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
I just wanted to make a comment on the improvements, and they look wonderful. So having lived by there and also bike and walk over there, it looks really nice. And it kind of, if folks haven't driven by over by Rotorcraft and the Two Rivers Park, I envision now what potentially our business park will look like, when it comes to the wide sidewalks and the tree-lined streets. So it's kind of nice to see that development there. It's really nice. So thank you. Looks great.
Yeah, and for those who've not seen the inside of the hangar, I guess you call it a hangar, I know that staff and Phil DeFore himself has been willing to take people inside to see the helicopters being worked on. And it's amazing. I mean, the number of helicopters they have in there and the work that's going on. And they bring in helicopters from all over the world to do repairs. So I think this was a huge feather in the cap for Fillmore, bringing this in. It's taken it several years to come to a final completion, technically speaking, tonight. So I just say, kudos to staff that worked on this over the years and to Phil DeFore and his employees and workers. And I think it's been a huge success. So thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, thank you to Rotorcraft and Phil DeFore and his team for an excellent project, and also for being an involved member of the community.
Yep. All right. Anything else on that? Okay, then we will move on to item 8.
Mayor, do we want to make a motion on that 7E that we accept it?
Okay.
Yeah, since we had pulled it from the original motion.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Then, I see.
Okay.
Let's go back to that item 7E then. Do I have a motion then to accept?
So moved.
In a second? Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. The agenda item passes. Thank you. Okay, now moving on to our only item on our new business, and that's a consideration of ordinance number 24967 to update portions of Fillmore Municipal Code, Chapter 8.06, and that's with regard to stormwater quality management. And I will turn this over to staff to explain in detail.
So good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. As stated previously, my name is Joe Bellomo. I'm your Deputy City Engineer here this evening to present on the item on behalf of your Municipal Services Director, Troy Spade. Staff is requesting the City Council introduce by first reading ordinance number 24967 that updates various sections of the Fillmore Municipal Code for consistency with the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination Systems Permit issued to municipal dischargers by the Regional Water Quality Control Board in 2021. Some of the proposed changes include revisions to the definition section, ensures proper maintenance of privately owned water quality improvement devices, and provides a mechanism for the city to recover costs associated with certain inspections and violations. This concludes my oral report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Council, any questions for staff?
I guess this item in particular, just I understand that it's been found to be an exemption from CEQA, but it is a stormwater quality. Can you just maybe give like an explanation of what that is, why that is? Is it because it's regulatory in nature and it presumably improves the quality, so it doesn't come in conflict necessarily? Maybe that just a good clarification there would be helpful.
Do you want me to answer that, Joe?
Sure, yeah.
So regulatory things could be subject to CEQA, but in this case, individual projects will have a CEQA process, and so that's when the CEQA analysis will be undertaken.
And then one last question about the proposed fine, $250 today. I think it was no more than that amount. Is that based on other fines that we've implemented? Like, where did that, just what's a brief explanation of how that fine was?
How it would come about?
Yeah,
there would be a process. The city has a process where we have notice the violation, give time to correct. If not correct, then there's a hearing process, and then at that point, then I would imagine that the fine would be levied at the discretion of the hearing officer.
Okay, and those fines pay for
Inspection.
the actions of the code enforcement, correct? Okay. I think that was it, yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve ordinance number 24967, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Fillmore, California, updating portions of the city's stormwater quality management regulation and finding of exemption from CEQA.
And I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, this agenda item passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, Mayor, if I jumped.
It doesn't take much to throw me off either. Okay, item number 9, committee, commission, and board reports.
I do have a report.
Okay,
On Friday, March 22nd, I attended the Housing, Community, and Economic Development Policy Committee meeting. We discussed several items. We voted on 2 items, whether it's to support AB 2085, which is a bill that would require ministerial approval of community clinics. And so we did approve, we voted to support that bill with certain amendments. So at our next meeting, I'll let you know what those amendments are. And that would just require ministerial approval over the counter to make those kind of somebody comes with the project with
Right.
those, yeah, over the counter. So. And so AB 2632, which is a planning and zoning thrift retail stores, we voted to oppose that bill. That bill had several flaws in it. And again, so would they go to Sacramento or oppose it?
so during these sessions, do they actually, is there like a vote taken amongst the members on the committee?
Yes. Yes.
And then the majority then moves forward with action accordingly?
Right. And so the Cal Cities will, lobbyists will take that, the outcome of those votes and represent.
Great. Good to know. And I really do appreciate those agenda items or that come back from that meeting specifically. I think it's important for all of us to follow some of the legislation that's coming down from Sacramento. And I think that puts Albert in the hot seat for conveying information to us. I think we get a lot of information too from the League of California Cities ourselves, come to us in our own emails, and we should all be monitoring those so we know what we need to be pushing forward and what we should be fighting against. And it's something that I would like our council to become more cognizant of, and that's that if something is being mandated by Sacramento that we're opposed to, I think we need to really start enhancing our joint letter writing process. You know, councils, you know, if we all are in agreement, corresponding with Sacramento, our representatives, and saying, no, we're opposed to this, or yes, we're in favor of this. But I'd like to see a little bit more involvement from this dais, from this council, in sharing our voices on these items. And I don't know that we've ever done that before. We talk about it, but I just think it's a good idea to do.
Yeah, I agree, Mayor. I think also for the council and also for the community, because it's on our, I believe it's on the website of our legislative platform. So if there was ever sort of a doubt of what, you know, where the city of Fillmore stands on environmental issues, cities issues, zoning issues, I can't think of the word right now, but, you know, cities not being usurping city rights, you know, that sort of thing. We have a whole listing of a few pages of our legislative platform, so it'd be a good thing to review as we're looking at legislation.
Yeah, so I guess as we conclude our meeting here shortly, between now and the next one, you know, I'd like to hear from council members on things that, the legislation that's coming down. It's kind of early in the year right now for, I mean, they just submitted, 2,100 pieces of legislation to put on the governor's desk for signature, and not that we can review 2,100 pieces of legislation, but things that, you know, you feel certain about, I think we should start reporting on them from the dais. So, okay, that was a public service announcement. And from there, anyone else on comments or?
I had another comment. I also attended a meeting regarding the Chiquita landfill. That was a big one. It was very informative. And I talked to a member from the South Coast Air Quality Management District, and he said he has gotten numerous complaints from residents in Fillmore about odors. And so he did bring that up. He thanked me because I did attend and was there from Fillmore. And it was a pretty hot topic. I mean, people were quite upset. So they did form a task force because they felt that the landfill was not acting quickly enough and taking the necessary steps to clean it up. So they have a special task force that they formed, and it's based in Valencia. They have various subject matter experts and people from different state agencies. The EPA is involved, and so they're hoping to speed up the process. They are going to do more water monitoring in the Santa Clara Valley, Santa Clara River, and hopefully I reached out to Ali Gassemi, our Ventura County Air Pollution Control Board director, and he's going to check with CARB and see what, if any, monitoring on the Ventura County air quality monitoring on the Ventura County side.
Okay. Were you made aware of that meeting through your seat on the Ventura County Air Pollution Control District?
No, actually, I was at the Fillmore Piru Groundwater Basins meeting, and one of the members mentioned that there was a meeting that night. And so when I left here,
You went to that one?
I went to that one.
Yeah.
So I'll let you, and so if there's another meeting, I'll let you guys know.
Great, yeah.
Mayor, if I may, just had a question. Wondering did Supervisor Long's office represent at that meeting? Just want to make sure that they're in the know, since, you know, the county line goes right up pretty close to Chiquita.
I don't think there was any other elected officials there. I don't believe so.
Okay.
From the county at all? Other cities or, wow.
Okay. Thank you.
And that might be something we can follow up with Supervisor Long and find out what she knows about it. So, all right. Anything else on committee, commission, and board reports? I do have one board report to report back on. I attended the Ventura Council of Governments meeting last week and covered several. We had it's a commission that's made up of all representatives from all over the city. There's city council members from each individual city, plus county representatives that sit on that commission as well. And we always try to communicate things that are effective and important to cities across the board. And we had one presentation that was done by the probation department, which was of interest. A lot of people, if you've never worked in law enforcement, you know, probably aren't too aware of what the probation department does. And so it was informative. But so there's just all sorts of committees and things that all of us sit on, just FYI. So, you know, we attend this council meeting or twice a month. But we're also attending these other committees and getting informed on what's happening throughout the county. But that was where I spent my Thursday last week. So, anyone else? Okay, then let's move on to item 10. Do we have anything to report on from our city manager?
I do, Mayor, thank you. As council member Villaseñor brought it up, we do have an upcoming event from the city, Earth Day. It's on April 27th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and we're encouraging the community to join us. We will be having fun activities for the community, some art, coloring, plant your own seed in a small pot, SB 1383 education, and the city's going to be providing some recycle containers for organics as well, from part of a grant that we received at the state. Some electric vehicles, and there's going to be a yoga class on the grass. So we encourage all the community members to join us on this fun event. We have a handful of sponsors which we'll be naming at the event as well. And then we currently have 3 open positions, so we encourage the community to take a look at those. We really need to hire lifeguards, so if you have a teenager that needs a job in the summer, please send them our way. For future information or further information, they can contact me directly at 805-946-1712. Information's being posted on social media and our website as well. We have a maintenance worker for Public Works and as well a planning technician that we're hiring for. And just wanted to remind the community that City Hall will be closed to the public on Monday, April 1st, in observance to Cesar Chavez Day. So that's all I have.
Great, thank you. And that brings us to our adjournment. This is probably the shortest council meeting we've had in a very long time. But thank you for those who are in attendance, and thank you for those who are watching from home. And so we will now adjourn to our next regularly scheduled council meeting on Tuesday, April 9th, here in City Hall. Have a good evening.